May I now invite the respected Chief Minister of Nagaland, Mr. Neiphiu Rio, to please come onto the stage. May I request our news editor, 𝗟𝗓𝗡𝗖𝗓, and our Nagaland Chief of Bureau, 𝗟𝗓𝗡𝗖𝗓𝗘, to please bring sir on stage. May I now request the Honorable Chief Minister, the young and dynamic Chief Minister of Meghalaya, Mr. Conrad Sangma, to please come onto the stage. Helping him are Reshma and Marina Dai from Arunachal Pradesh. She's our Arunachal correspondent. All right, before we proceed, let's take a quick look at, this is our way of kind of bringing forward, in a nutshell, about the respected chief ministers here on stage. We have two very short audio visuals done. The audio visuals, please.
A veteran leader, respected by all, Nagaland Chief Minister Neiphiu Rio is known for his straight talk and community-centric policies. A champion of the Naga cause, CM Rio has been a man at helm of Nagaland politics for over 3 decades. A seasoned politician, Mr. Rio, who is also Nagaland's longest-serving CM, has kept himself in tune with the changing times. CM Rio shares a warm relationship with the masses and is popular among leaders from across the region and nation. A rock star and a cool campaigner, Meghalaya Chief Minister Conrad Sangma is a popular figure not just in the region but across the country. Humility, composed demeanor, and ability to gel with the people as a leader are what set him apart. Someone who never loses his cool, the versatile CM of Meghalaya is a role model for the Gen Z and masses alike. A family man who holds the values of the community dear, Conrad Sangma believes in encouraging the youth to build a better future.
May I now request our editor-in-chief, Mr. 𝗟𝗓𝗡𝗖𝗓, to please come up on stage and felicitate the two respected chief ministers. That's the Assamese 𝗟𝗓𝗡𝗖𝗓𝗘. A mark of respect. And there is the replica of the revered 𝗓𝗢𝗥𝗧𝗏 temple. There's also a coffee table book on our Prideist group and the many channels that we have, including the leading Assamese news channel News Live and Northeast Live, and also another coffee table book on how Assam beat COVID pandemic under the leadership of Chief Minister 𝗟𝗓𝗡𝗖𝗓 Sharma. We are honoring both our honorable chief ministers with the 𝗟𝗓𝗡𝗖𝗓. That's the replica of the 𝗓𝗓𝗡𝗖𝗓 temple and the two coffee table books, and of course, a bouquet of flowers. Now, I would like to request you, 𝗟𝗓𝗡𝗖𝗓 sir, if you would like to address the gathering, say a few words before I hand over the session to you. Please.
Can I get going? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am overwhelmed today with your presence as I heartily welcome each one of you on my own behalf and on behalf of our media group, 𝗟𝗢𝗡𝗔𝗦𝗘 Entertainments Private Limited, to the 6th anniversary celebrations of your channel, Northeast Live. We have in our midst, on the dais actually, the Honorable Chief Minister of Nagaland, 𝗟𝗓𝗓 Neiphiu Rio, and the Honorable Chief Minister of Meghalaya, 𝗟𝗓𝗡𝗙𝗢𝗙 Conrad Sangma, and a galaxy of dignitaries from the region and representing all walks of life. Your presence here this afternoon has made our day, besides making it truly meaningful and memorable. Northeast Live is only 6, but I have been associated with 𝗟𝗢𝗡𝗔𝗦𝗘 group for around 15 years now. I remember our chairperson, Srimati Riniki Bhuya Sharma. Incidentally, she had to rush out of station a short while ago. Due to it was an unscheduled trip, she was here in the morning session. In fact, our chairperson, Srimati Riniki Bhuya Sharma, has been telling me that we must have a news channel that works solely for the interest of the region, a channel that highlights the hopes and aspirations of the people in the 8 states, and which focuses on nothing but mainly the issues, aspirations, hopes of the people in the region. Work started in 2017, and we were on air this day in 2018 with the tagline, Northeast Live, your station, your voice. During the past 6 years, me and my young team, whose average age would not be more than 27, under the leadership of our dynamic chairperson, have covered elections in the northeastern states, disasters like the earthquake in Sikkim, the mine disaster in Meghalaya, the mudslide that swept away security men and railway workers in Manipur, the ethnic strife in Manipur, and many more. These are gloomy stories, but we have celebrated the successes of our sports persons, our musicians, showcased our men and women in the world of glamour and entertainment, and also asked some tough questions to our popular chief ministers and their governments. If we make an inadvertent spelling mistake or wrongly pronounce a name, we often get calls from our viewers. We always take this positively, and this also demonstrates our reach within the region. So therefore, we cannot afford to make a spelling mistake even if it is inadvertent, or we cannot actually afford to mispronounce, although we quite often mispronounce the names considering the difficulties that you can all understand. The engaging comments and suggestions on our digital platforms like YouTube, Facebook, or X give us an idea of our reach as well as our effort in covering or presenting each story from the region. While bringing in the news and views from the region to your living rooms, we face huge challenges, connectivity issue, we have manpower in the remote areas and so on, but we are managing because of the sincerity, commitment, and hard work of our entire team and the goodwill and blessings of our esteemed viewers and others in the Northeast and beyond. When we bring you real-time stories from locations as remote as Tawang, Moreh, Champhai, we really feel good. Northeast Live is the only English and Hindi satellite news channel in the region, and that way one can say we are a monopoly. But that makes our task all the more difficult because we have to always keep challenging ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, I will stop here for now because we shall soon have our highly popular chief ministers who are mass leaders for a discussion. We shall basically try to know their vision for their own states and the region as a whole as India races to become a superpower and $1 trillion economy in the days ahead. I would like to conclude with a renewed commitment to cover this and serve the region to the best of our abilities, with honesty and objectivity, besides speed, of course, and seek your blessings and cooperation. And to our respected chief ministers, Rio ji and Conrad ji, please always speak to our reporters on ground and me if you feel like, and look out for the Northeast Live booms. Thank you very much for a patient hearing.
Thank you, Wasbir sir. Before I request Wasbir sir to host the session, I would like to thank our supporting partners, Patanjali Ayurved, X-Tech TMT Bar, Amrit Sem, Awesome Assam, Ratna Kuber, and T-Board India. Thank you all. Over to you, Wasbir sir, for another exciting session.
One more. Bring one more. Good afternoon once again, ladies and gentlemen. As we have shown in the audio visual, we have two very popular chief ministers in this session. Mr. Neiphiu Rio, as we have said, is the longest serving chief minister of Nagaland, and this is his 5th term in the hot seat. And Mr. Conrad Sangma, the dynamic chief minister of Meghalaya. This may be his 2nd term as chief minister, but he has seen it all firsthand since childhood, as his father, the legendary 𝗡𝗢𝗥𝗧𝗛𝗏 Sangma, was chief minister, union minister, and Lok Sabha speaker. I would like to sincerely thank Neiphiu Rio ji and Conrad Sangma ji for being here today, despite your pressing engagements. Let me turn straight to you, Mr. Rio. 5 decades almost, or half a century in politics. What is the biggest lesson that you have learned, and is winning elections everything in politics?
Well, thank you for inviting us to this Any Life conclave.
Welcome.
And last night we had celebrated the anniversary of 6th year of Any Life. And we cut the cake. I had the privilege of having dinner with our friends and your colleagues. And Chairperson Renika was there. But unfortunately, she left for some urgent works. Well, in political life, it is very strenuous. And to be surviving for even a term or a decade is a long time. But fortunately, by the grace of God, I had been surviving because of not myself, but the love of the people. I dedicate myself and serve them, and I get a support. And there is ups and downs in life, and more so in politics. Well, it is an opportunity to serve the people. And so, with good health, I'm still enjoying the part I'm playing, and will do all out. The only thing that is impacting our state is the Naga issue, unresolved issue.
Right.
But whatever the case, we have to go forward. And we're struggling, and slowly we're trying to do things what are possible.
Absolutely. I'll talk to you in details about the Naga issue. Before that, may I request our producers to please switch off the volume of these 2 TVs in front of me. Rioji, I'm coming to you, Mr. Conrad Sangma. See, I asked you my first question. You have been in 5 decades in politics when I said, starting from your student politics, youth days. Now, where do you see the Northeast in the next 10 years? I'm asking you this question because, India is fast racing forward towards, it's been globally recognized today. Under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, India has reached new heights globally. So where do you see the Northeast in the next 10 years?
Well, Honorable Prime Minister's vision and his commitment towards the Northeast, we understood. Because first he said that look east policy. Now to accelerate, he said act east. And that's how many things are happening in the Northeast, in all the states, including mine, except for few things we could not get because of the issue not being resolved. So anyway, when I was having a discussion with the higher ups, they even told me on the face that why not we all try our best to resolve the issue and do what needs to be done. So I said, look, Naga issues is a question of century issue.
Yeah.
And we are elected only for 5 years. So if you tell me like that, then that means we'll never get what we want to do things. And so otherwise, I see that all the other sister states, they are doing quite well. And Nagaland also, we are trying our best. Because when you say Southeast Asia to Southeast Asia and look east, meaning you cannot overlook the Northeast.
Right.
You have to go through the Northeast. And like your channel, Northeast Live, which you are highlighting about the problems, the visions,
Yes.
and your channel itself is bringing the Northeast together. And we also feel that it belongs to us. It is our channel.
Thank you so much.
We are a part of the Northeast.
That is a huge compliment coming from a personality of the stature of Mr. Neiphiu Rio. Before I ask my question, can anybody switch off these two TVs, please? Switch off. Can anybody switch this off? There is echo here. It will affect the live telecast.
Echoes.
Switch it off. Let me turn to Mr. Conrad Sangma. You are trained in finance. You hold an MBA degree from the Imperial College in London. Your hobby is music. You play the electric guitar and you love heavy metal. And your passion, of course, is politics. Who is the real Conrad Sangma?
First of all, Wasbir, thank you so much for having invited us here. And on behalf of all of us from our state of Meghalaya, we'd like to congratulate Northeast Live.
Thank you.
Especially the chairperson and all the team for the wonderful work that you've been doing.
Thank you.
Coming to your question, of course, it's a very tricky question, but I guess every individual has many parts to their life, and as any other individual would be, there are parts that are more personal, which we, of course, enjoy as musicians or any other hobby that any other individual will have. But at the end of the day, as a political leader, I guess what is important for us is the kind of passion with which we like to work and serve the people. And you mentioned that my passion is politics. Actually, it's not really, politics is a very complicated word. I'd like to use the word that I like to work for the people and make a difference in people's lives. And wherever I can contribute in a positive manner, I'm happy to do it. So I guess we all are part, and we all, as I said, have got our professional side, our personal side. So it's a mix of all of it.
Absolutely. Now, when you say that you want to work with the people, you want to contribute your bit, and you really quite don't like the word politics as such, you have explained it in a slightly different way. Where does music, come from? Do you think your passion for music, your hobby as a musician, does it help you to connect easily with the people? Because we have seen that wherever you go, even in an election meeting, you start singing.
No, first of all, it's not that I use it to connect to people. It's just, it's something that I like to do. I think if I'm not wrong, and all of us know that
Sir is also a great musician.
Yes.
I have heard him sing many times, and
Yes.
many times I had to leave the stage because he's a very good singer. And so we all have our passions, and we all love, something or the other to do. So it's just part of that, and it's not really that we look at it to connect. But yes, keeping in mind the fact that there's a very young population in the country, and especially the northeast and the state of Meghalaya has got a lot of music lovers, people who connect with music, and music is part of our culture, part of our life, and therefore it's definitely a way in which we can connect with the youth.
Absolutely.
And it's a good thing. And I always encourage people that rather than doing the wrong things in life, the youth should focus on things like music. You must be aware that our Honorable Chief Minister of Nagaland had in fact declared music as an industry many years back.
Yes.
And I'm following those footsteps and learning from what he has done and ensuring that we push music in our state like never before. So we really are encouraging musicians. Today, almost close to 5,000 musicians are supported by the government, where they perform in different, programs, perform in different tourist spots, and government of Meghalaya supports them.
Right. In fact, we were talking with Rioji last night. You are the only chief minister to have set up a music task force. As Mr. Conrad Sangma said, that you have declared music as an industry. Just the other day, you inaugurated the Asian Music Summit in Kohima. So, music task force, that means the government is supporting musicians. That's quite a unique step.
Well, yes. Actually, Asian Music Summit was to be hosted in India. And so Nagaland was requested, and we welcomed that opportunity. And 12 countries, the music directors, and the participants were above 500. And the whole capacity of about 2,000 was packed. And then 3 days summit they had, and they had signed an MOU. And so in that, among the Nagaland, there are so many bands, and 20 were selected, and they had performed, then singers, musicians. So 3 days they had a workshop, they had exhibitions. So the music task force which we created way back in 2004, that year we declare Year of the Youth Empowerment, and we promote music and arts, and then sports. As I was mentioning, even sports, being an insurgency state, a troubled state, we have lots to do for the youth, otherwise they'll go the wrong way. And when I took over Chief Minister in 2003, I was forced to be the president of Indian Olympic Association, Nagaland Olympic Association.
Mm-hmm.
And after 40 years of statehood, in 2004, we got affiliated, Nagaland got affiliated with Indian Olympic Association.
After 40 years of statehood?
Yes. That means we have never participated in national games. The first game we attended was in Guwahati, and we won 11 medals with gold, silver, and bronze.
Right.
So that was very encouraging. And so supporting the musicians, sending the talented people abroad also, or in the country also. And today there is huge demand, and there are many local music academies and schools.
Absolutely. Mr. Conrad Sangma, everyone can dream. In fact, we just showed a clip several years ago. Dr. 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗖𝗟𝗔𝗩𝗘 was on my show. He was talking to me about puras, P-U-R-A-S. Puras is the small localities. How growth of small localities can, make into a big dreams. Basically, what he was trying to suggest is that even from small towns, small localities, people can aspire to dream big, and that he had written a book also. My question to you is, what are the challenges for small states to realize their dreams or achieve their full potential? Why I must say, talking about small state means most of the states in the Northeast are relatively small states compared to the rest of the country. How do they, realize their dreams, their hopes and aspirations?
It all depends, actually, if you look at it. And the most simplest reply to your question would be that, number one, challenges are there everywhere. And every state has got its unique challenge. I have always stressed and believed that the first step towards any change anywhere is really the change in the mindset. So, first, the Northeast people themselves have to start saying that we can actually do it. And there is no reason why we can't do it. And we should not think that we are second to anybody else. And even if there are challenges, it is up to us to overcome those challenges. So therefore, yes, there are difficulties, there are challenges, but it starts with the right mindset and the determination that we can actually do it, and there's no reason why we can't do it. That's number one. Number two, in today's world, with technology being available, there are a lot of areas in which we can actually leapfrog this entire, circumstances and situations that are there in many, fields that are there. We have challenges in our state because of, or Northeast region, because of financial crunch, maybe. So we start off with saying that, yes, we have financial issues. We do have geographical constraints and challenges out here. We do have issues with human development index because we do not have the kind of larger or better universities and colleges and high technical education. But all of these can be overcome. So it works, and it all depends on how we move forward. So therefore, I don't prescribe to this this notion that you're saying that we can't do it, and I'm not saying that you are saying it, but this perception that somehow Northeast has got more challenges than others. Everybody has challenges, but I think there are also strengths that we have, and it's not about only how much money you spend, but it also matters on how you spend it, what you spend it on, how the outcome is measured, what are the goals that are targets that you have, how do you monitor it. So if you do all of these things in the right way, there is no reason why any of the Northeast states cannot match up to any other state in the country.
Rioji, when we talk about these things, progress and development, the question comes, peace. All these years we have been saying that, the Northeast has been lagging behind because, for the lack of peace. Now, peace has always been at a premium as far as the Northeast is concerned. Now, would you agree that the lingering of the Naga problem for 7.5 decades, do you think that has retarded the growth and development, not just in Nagaland, but also in the neighboring areas?
Well, I think Northeast is not only Nagaland, but many states are having insurgencies.
Yes.
And their own ethnic problems also. So, what I've been telling Delhi also, and in our party slogans and manifesto also, we had mentioned that, you see, we give a slogan of development for peace and peace for development.
Development for peace and peace for development.
Yes.
Okay.
Because, the people are in desperate. People are poor and they cannot get a square meal. They have no opportunities. And therefore, they don't value their lives. So when the society becomes rich and it is developed, then they will know the value of lives. And the moment things are stable, they will value their life, so they will also value your life. Otherwise, if they don't value your life, then if they don't value their life, then they will not value your lives also. So therefore, development is very important to bring permanent peace also.
Now that I have to take this opportunity to ask you this question, Who do you think was mainly responsible for the delay? Delay has not happened in the last 5 years, 10 years. There has been a delay right from the beginning.
Yes.
Otherwise, the Naga issue would not have been lingering for the last 75 years. Now, who do you who do you hold? Is it the government or is it the different voices within the Naga movement?
No, this Naga issue, Naga movement, is a very old. It is pre-India independence.
Yes.
And therefore, it should be as signed in the framework agreement. It should be honorable and acceptable and inclusive. So that means in whatever way it is possible, I think that should be taken, because now the ceasefire and dialogue, the present with the IM is now running into 27th years. So that's a long time.
Yeah.
And even the NNG groups also, they had signed your agreed position. And they are negotiating, and they have also signed guidelines, a framework where they should work out. So I feel that it is high time both sides should take a decision. Otherwise, in this way, people cannot go forward.
That means give and take is not happening. If there would have been give and take, perhaps we would have had a solution. It's obvious.
Yeah, it's give and take, because why you are negotiating? And when you look at the framework or agreed position, their writings are very clear that they understood one another, intricacies or the complications. So while appreciating all those things, then coming down to the ground, they are not concluding. So I think I don't want to blame anybody, but people are fed up, they want solution. And you are aware, for that settlement support, Nagaland Assembly having 60 members, were running an oppositionless government. Because
Oppositionless government, yes.
Yes, all the MLAs in different parties, as independent also, they said they will support the government because they want settlement. And therefore we must run oppositionless government. So the unity of the Naga political groups and the civil societies and the public, one solution. So I think we have to hammer it out sooner or later.
Absolutely. Now, Mr. Conrad Sangma, if we look at the history of the region, we find that several of the states in the Northeast emerged after getting bifurcated from Assam. Yet today, we talk of a common Northeast identity. We said Northeast policy, so on and so forth. We want to look at the Northeast as one entity. The government may be at the center, the policy makers. Is it the right approach, according to you? Because we know that, we may be part of the Northeastern region, but we have different voices, we have different issues, we have different problems, we have location-specific issues. Now, is it affecting growth and development, trying to club the entire Northeast as one single entity?
This actually happens at every level, to be very, very frank. I studied I got an opportunity to study outside, and you won't believe it, that when we were studying outside, then the Bangladeshi, Pakistani and Indian group used to be together, because it was, the Western against the Asian kind of a group. And suddenly you come to India, and then it becomes India versus Pakistan, and then suddenly you come to Guwahati, then it becomes Northeast versus rest of India, and then suddenly you go back to Meghalaya, then it becomes one tribe against another tribe. I'm not saying against, but it's about positioning yourself. And the positioning happens at every level. There's nothing wrong with it. The only thing that comes wrong is if we try to divide and be negative and be communal, and try to do negative things by using that platform or that entire, bringing a a platform together. I think that is incorrect. But if you're using it for the right purpose, which is to be able to come together and bring in positive change, to be able to come together to express your concerns, and there are certain issues which are common to the Northeast, and be able to raise a voice to whoever that matters, that look, we need these things in our region or in our state. I don't think there's anything wrong in that. And to be very frank, in the Northeast, we need to understand that while there are many differences, obviously we know the kind of cultural differences and ethnicity and all these other factors, which leads to a lot of complicated situation in the Northeast, which is maybe one of the biggest strengths of the Northeast, but also one of the more challenges that we have. So coming together, if it is allowing us, minusing the differences, if we can have some basic common goals like economic development, infrastructural improvement, climate change is going to affect us all in one go, trade with the Southeast Asian countries and with Bangladesh and BIMSTEC, youth-related issues, farming issues and inter-state trade that's taking place. All of these factors unite us. So if all of this can be looked at as a thing that is going to allow us to position ourselves to have a positive impact, I think there's nothing wrong with it.
That means you are saying in so many words that a common Northeast policy is not going to work.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it is going to work.
It's going to work.
Yes, absolutely.
But can there be really, are we practical when we say this, that there can be a common Northeast policy?
You see, it all depends, So if you're, as I said, if you're looking at trying to solve the ethnicity problems and different differences between the tribes and the groups and the communities, well, it may not work out. But when it comes to sitting together and today saying that, look, we need to figure out when the government is going to come out with a Northeast industrial policy, because it's something that we've been talking.
Yeah.
I'm sure Sir has been mentioning it to the government of India. I have been mentioning it to them. And we know that it's in the pipeline and we expect it to move forward. Well, we need to come together to then mention to Delhi that we need this to happen. We need more airport infrastructures, because airports are very necessary for the Northeast region. We require a solid program for the trade that we have to do. So what Meghalaya should do with Bangladesh, what Nagaland should do with Myanmar, there has to be some important trade aspects. So there are many, many policy matters that can actually can work if we come together.
Right. Now, what is your take, Rio-ji? What do you think on the same question, basically? See, everybody says Northeast, 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 but the issues are so different. The approaches are so different. Is there anything called the Northeast, really? Is it correct to club the whole 8 states together?
No, Northeast is definitely behind, much behind the central development activities. Now, we are still struggling for connectivity. So, connectivity should be very good. And when we say that look is policy and act is policy, then we should be connected. There are many ways, but it is not being materialized so far. We have taken our car rally up to Southeast Asia, and then there is still no activities. And airports or railway link or even roads. There's only one road which goes to Southeast Asia. In that way, how do we function? And our Trans Highway which we had planned.
And with the situation in Manipur, our connectivity is choked because nobody can travel in that road anymore.
Sir, can I just take 1 second to just...
Yeah.
I wish he had asked that question to me instead of asking to you, that he said that is there something called Northeast?
Yeah.
And can we? So I think you should be the last person asking that question, because your channel is called Northeast Live. So if you're asking that question, then,
I'm asking that question.
That question shouldn't come from you.
I'm asking that question because we are covering the northeastern region. We are covering the 8 states. But I'm asking about a policy, whether it is correct to have a whether it is correct to look at the Northeast as one single entity, one single region, one single block.
No, you see Manipur is choking the
Connectivity.
look is
Yeah.
and the connectivity. So we have to find an alternative. And I would say there are options you have to see. And then anyhow we should move forward. We cannot just hold it.
Are you talking about the Sitwe option? Are we talking about the Bangladesh option?
So there are many ways. Your road also, or your England also, or air also, you have to take an alternative route. We cannot just look at one route only.
Right. I mean, talking about politics, Mr. Conrad Sangma, it's a general question actually. In Meghalaya, I'm just giving a case study because this is happening in other states as well. We have seen your party, the NPP, and your ally, the BJP, trade charges, accuse each other during elections. You are bitter rivals during elections. The moment the election is over, you are the best of friends and you are part of the coalition. Now my question is, and that is electoral politics. I understand the coalition politics. But what do you expect the people to understand or think about politics as such? Is it politics of convenience? What will the common people, what will somebody who wants to join politics, a fresh guy with no background in politics, what he or she is to understand from this?
First of all, it is important to understand the background with which my political party, we contest elections. We never have a pre-poll alliance. I just wanted to share that because we go to the public with our beliefs and with our different visions that we have, and we sell it to the public and tell them that, look, if you vote for our party, this is what we will do. But in a situation where we have a fractured mandate, which we had both times, it's just that my numbers went up the second time. Well, we have to then look at a way in which we are able to form a stable government, a government that will be able to then provide the necessary development. And combining these 2 points together is actually not going to give you the correct picture. You have to look at it the election point of view. You have to look at it at governance and government point of view. As I said, if we had got a full mandate, maybe, well, we would have thought, we would have discussed and see how we went forward. But keeping in mind that we had a fractured mandate, the next responsibility for a political party while forming government is to be able to provide a stable government. And therefore, my message to the youngsters is that, yes, we need to work towards the ideologies and the visions that you believe in and work towards it. But given the circumstances of the complications that Indian politics has, and Northeast especially, we do sometimes have to adjust.
No, but why
and
not?
It's not so simple.
Right, but why not?
But then, while we say that, when we adjust, we should be firm on the principles that we believe, and certain things which we can adjust in policy matters, we adjust.
True. But why not pre-poll alliance so that people know exactly that you are allies?
Because that's exactly my point. Then this is what I believe. I mean, I'm not speaking for other political parties. The reason why I do that is because I would like to go to the people telling them that, look, we are looking at the indigenous identity. We're looking at the Northeast unity. We're looking at precisely what Northeast Live does. We are also a Northeast Live in the terms of a political party. And that's what we try to do. It's not an easy thing. It's very complicated. It's not black and white. There are so many, factors to it. But precisely, we want to sell and we want to share with people the ideology and the beliefs of the party.
Rioji's politics, your thing is slightly different. 𝗟𝗓𝗙𝗘 along is sitting here. He belongs to the BJP. He's your cabinet colleague. You have left some seats in advance for the BJP. You are not putting your candidates. So, in a way, that is a pre-poll alliance. Is it correct to understand that? Am I correct?
Well,
you are not contesting all the 60 seats.
Yeah.
Because you have left a few seats to the BJP, to your contest, because you have always been allies. Earlier also you have been allies, and this time also you had left seats for them.
Yes.
So that is slightly different from what Mr. Conrad Sangma approach.
It is slightly different. Initially, see, my alliance with BJP starts in 2003, when Vajpayee was then Prime Minister. And since then, I've been in alliance with them.
Yeah.
And then when their number was reduced or they have no MLAs also, we were working together. Then in 2018, they say that let us have make our alliance stronger and have seat sharing, pre-pool alliance, seat sharing. And that's how 2 terms we have done. And it's so far working well.
Right. That is what I was asking. People are clear that the NDPP and the BJP are allies. They are going to the elections, leaving some seats. Don't you think, Mr. Conrad Sangma, that gives clarity to the electorate?
There's clarity even in the way we are approaching it. When we are going to the people, we are telling the people that this is what the National People's Party stands for.
Yeah.
And, that please vote for the party. It's 2 approaches. I don't see saying that one is right or one is wrong. It really depends on your principles and the way you look at things and the history. But having said that, I'm very, very clear that even from my late father's time, we have been working with the NDA. But as I said, I also believe at the same time, while we work with the NDA, and we are partners in the NDA, there is no doubt about that. And we're very clear about that also. But while we say that, we also believe that the identity of a political party also cannot be diluted. The identity and the aspirations of the people cannot be diluted. So therefore, when the election comes, it is the right opportunity for us to be able to project those aspirations of the people and create that identity and also allow the party to grow also. You see, at the end of the day, we would like to see that the National People's Party also would maintain its, base. We are in Nagaland. We have 7 MLAs in Nagaland who are there right now. We have some MLAs in Arunachal Pradesh. We have some MLAs in Manipur. We are working, in fact, I remember I was a very, very small boy at that time. I remember Sir and my late father, Mr. Chamling, sitting in one room, and I think I was going there to serve tea or something. And I just overheard them talk about how we all need to come together to work for the Northeast identity. I remember those days. And you wouldn't believe that those few moments influenced me so much that till today, that I'm influenced by those words that I heard in that room. I think so it was in the residence, if I'm not wrong, we were having a meeting. And so that's what has been there, and it still is there inside me.
That brings me to the question. I know you can answer any question, actually. That's why I'm asking you this. Many people say that you are a product of dynastic politics. How do you respond? Because many feel that it is cakewalk in politics for sons and daughters of political leaders, which I personally think is not. It's not a cakewalk. But I want to hear from you how easy or difficult it is being the son of an established political personality.
There is no right answer to this, but the best way I can, put forward my point is that, number one, I lost my first election. So this was when my father was still alive, and this was in 2004. And actually, the reason I lost was because I thought I was P.S. Sangma's son, and so I should win. And that's precisely the reason why I lost. And then I let go of that tag. I was very down for a few months. And then I started walking and working with the people from village to village in that constituency which I had contested. And that changed me a lot, and I had to really work hard. And then I won the next election. The election after that, again, I lost because I thought that I had done so well as an MLA that I should win. And of course, we had floated the new party called the National People's Party, and I had to campaign along with my father in other places. So the only thing I can say is that there is a certain advantage you get. Number one, you are brought up, with certain principles that you see in the leader, or your father or your mother who's there, and you learn from those principles and cultures of politics. I think that is the key. So for me, I'll just tell you what matters a lot in our politics is shaking hands with people. And while you shake hands, you should have eye contact and you should smile. A simple thing, a rule like this. And I learned that from my father, which you will be surprised to know that many politicians take ages to realize. So, in short, to answer your question, yes, there are certain advantages, like you learn certain cultures, certain principles in politics, and that's what is advantageous. And maybe for a moment, for maybe one election or for one particular situation, that particular, link from your parents could help, but it's not sustainable. Ultimately, you have to deliver as an individual. There is the name can last for a certain time. It cannot last forever. And people will see through you and ultimately value you for what you are, not for the brand that you are in. So the product ultimately will have to perform. So therefore, I know it's a very long question to answer, a very complicated question to answer, but that's the way I see it. It is not sustainable. It is not a long term. It may give you a short term advantage, but at the end of the day, you have to prove yourself to the people.
Have eye contact when you shake hands. I think that's a very good lesson, because as a young, yes, if at all. Now, because NPP is almost a national party, so you may consider, later on. We will talk about it. The point is, as a young reporter, I was so greedy for news that when I was shaking hands with a politician, I was looking at the other side if I'm missing another politician pass by, So I was not making any eye contact. But this is a good lesson for everyone. Rioji, as chief, we are talking back to the Naga issue because I want to take this opportunity of having you in our midst today. As the Chief Minister, to what extent are you prepared to sacrifice for the sake of peace in Nagaland? Are you ready to give up the Chief Ministership as Mr. 𝗟𝗓𝗡𝗢𝗓 did during the Mizo Accord in 1986? This is a direct question.
Yes, indeed. We had given in our manifesto that if Naga issue solution comes about, which is honorable, acceptable and inclusive, then we'll pave the way for the alternative arrangement. That was written in our manifesto. And we stand by that. And that's how not only me, all the elected members, and that is not my decision, that is the government decision, that is a party decision. So there is no second thought about that.
So that means what you are saying in simple terms is that you are prepared to resign, the government is prepared to give up governance if there is an acceptable solution and if there is need for installation of an interim government in Nagaland.
Yes, definitely we'll pave the way, means we'll resign, and for the alternative arrangement, which will bring permanent peace.
Now a hypothetical question to you, Rioji. Suppose there is an acceptable solution, assuming.
Yes.
You as committed, you have a resolution, you resign, your government resigns.
Yes.
How easy or difficult? You are a veteran political leader, you are a statesman, you have seen it all, Rioji. Suppose there is an agreement which is acceptable to the Naga people, then following that your government and you resign.
Yes.
How easy or difficult it is going to be to install an interim government in place? What is your prediction?
No. Why the state elected members coming together without oppositionless government? That means that can happen when the Naga political groups and the civil society, the public leaders, if we are unanimous, I said honorable, acceptable and inclusive. So when there is unity, anything is possible. Why I should stand on the way? And that's how we're prepared, and alternative should come. Let any person who is capable can lead the Nagas.
So that any person coming, the selection of that particular person who can lead the Nagas, will it be difficult? Will it be easy?
there will be only an interim, and then the election process will take. I think Mizoram issue, it was only 3 months or 6 months.
Then there was
Interim
elections.
government. Yes.
So at the end of the day, Rioji, at the end of the day, the Naga political groups, after signing the accord, even if there is an interim government formed, they will automatically have to face the electoral process.
Yes.
Ultimately, it is the people who will be the king,
Yes.
the masses,
Yes.
the electorate.
Yes. Because the elected government is supreme.
And the cycle goes on.
And it
There may
goes
be a
on.
new political party formed,
Yeah.
or they may join the existing parties.
So now Naga groups, if they take over also, they do injustice, then the people will outrightly reject them. How it is happening in the experience of Mizoram.
Yes. Yes, they have won and they have lost as well.
Yes, yes.
Mr. Conrad Sangma, in the Northeast, we have seen chief ministers have to collaborate on various things with each other, as well as they have to compete to get mega projects. This is also in itself a very difficult task. Because if there is an IIM in Shillong, if possible, maybe Assam would have tried to, must have tried at that time to let's have the IIM here. Vice versa, any other state can, how difficult it is. It's a challenging maneuver.
It's a normal, kind of a situation that many states, many organizations face. So there's nothing wrong or nothing unique about it. And the way I see it is that it should be looked at as from a positive competitiveness point of view. That we all need to work hard and we all need to improve ourselves and achieve for higher goals. So I think there's nothing wrong in positive competitiveness. Yeah. I've always believed that whatever situation you face, whatever complications that are there, it is only and only if you have a negative thought in your mind, if you are trying to negatively undermine others, if you're trying to be destructive in whatever you're trying to do, that is not a good thing. But in a constructive, positive competitiveness is always healthy for any system, and even in governance it is healthy. And obviously for the Northeast it's a very positive thing, because we all will strive to be better in what we do, and hopefully all will get IIMs, because at the end of the day we wish to work and see that our investment in capital, human capital, which I've been mentioning to you, is something that is very low. Yeah. And therefore Northeast, if it really wants to see that we move forward from where we are today, we need to invest in human capital a lot. So, right. So let's hope that we will have positive competitiveness. Yes, there will be some situations which will become more complicated than others. We'll deal with those situations.
Right. I'll not lengthen much. Rioji, where is the Congress in Nagaland today? Why I am asking you this question is that Rahul Gandhi still decided to start his Nyaya Yatra from the Northeast. This Yatra March for Justice from the Northeast. Where is the Congress in Nagaland, for example?
No, Congress party definitely, it is there in Nagaland. So it is just that they don't have any MLA in the assembly for consecutive the term. So they are losing ground. But the Yatra of Rajiv Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, he came and his stoppage, he wanted to host the relay and other things in the town. So we advised that it will be embarrassing if things doesn't work out. And therefore, he stopped in the entrance in a big villages, and then they welcome him. Nagas like to welcome people and talk to new faces and these celebrities. So they give him a very good welcome. And he went to the Indira Gandhi Stadium where the sports activities was going on. So he had a good time, and he went to Assam. And I'm happy that we have no issue with them and they have no issue with us. So
you were not at all concerned or you were not at all bothered about his yatra and you didn't take it as a threat at all. There was no threat to the NDPP or the BJP in Nagaland?
Nothing. It doesn't matter much.
Now, pressure groups, Mr. Conrad Sangma. Northeast has any number of pressure groups. What has been your experience in the pressure groups? Do you look at them as watchdogs? Or do you look at them as groups? Of course, I'm not generalizing. Or do you generally look at them as groups which are out to pull things back? Because you are unable to extend a railway line to Meghalaya because of pressure groups.
I always look at any organization or any group's intent. And that is the only way to really judge what is it that they're trying to do. And at the end of the day, if their intent is for the larger good, then we are happy to engage. And I have always followed the principle of engaging with everybody, simply because everybody is a part of the system, a part of society. And hence, everybody has, in a way, a right to express their concerns. So I have followed the process of engagement over trying to use, say, force to try to neutralize or try to, remove anybody, or remove in the sense that, to kind of suppress them. I don't think that's a policy that can really work, especially in smaller states like ours, where the communities are very important to us, society is very important to us. We have got small villages, and therefore, in this kind of situations, we need to see that engagement is done. Having said that, when you talk about a large project like the railway, there has been a opposition to this in the Khasi Hills region especially for a very, very long time. I remember even during my late father's time in the 90s, in the 80s, there was opposition, and that's why the railway was then further, at that point in time, was taken to Garo Hills, and Mendi now today has a railway station. Today, some other parts of the state are expressing their willingness to see if the railways can be extended to other parts. So rather than looking at it from a point of view where we try to really, as I said, go head on and try to see, we try to understand their concerns, and some concerns are there. Wherever the intent is correct, we try to engage. And as you correctly said, in the Northeast in general, we have this kind of a culture. It's been there for a long time. It's also reflected in the fact that, if you remember when we had, started the movement for the statehood, even that time, there were a lot of organizations that had peaceful demonstrations and rallies. So it's, in a way, a part of the system and a culture that is there always. But as I said, when anybody has a wrong intent and tries to, utilize this in the wrong way, that's when we draw the line.
Right. Maybe we can take 2 to 3 questions if from the audience, and I'd request them to ask the question directly and identify. And of course, the Honorable Chief Ministers will have the prerogative to answer or not to answer. Anybody, any questions, please?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please identify yourself.
My name is 𝗟𝗓𝗘𝗔𝗦𝗧. I am from
Mike.
Mike. My question is to the Chief Minister, Conrad Sangma.
Mike's, just a minute. Yeah. Yes, Robin, please, go ahead.
No, it's a very simple question, because the last part was that only about the railways. And since I belong to the railways and I was an NFN for 20 years, we tried our best when the line across to Meghalaya, because the railway line to Meghalaya, because that would be the most, perhaps at that point of time, that would have been the most important development taking place in Meghalaya. Somehow it didn't happen. My question is very simple. What is in your mind, in how many years can we see the railway line through to Shillong? Because there was, at one point of time, there was a promise from the government of India that we will take all the state capitals on the railway map, and didn't happen in Meghalaya, which was the first in priority, in fact, that time.
Yeah, a couple of things. Number one, when you say that it would be the most important development, it's not necessarily one has to see that it is the only way to move forward economically. Yes, it's a very big thing. I don't disagree with that. But while we look at the railways, the main concerns that the people of the state have is regarding any kind of illegal immigration and infiltration in the state, which would affect the demography of the state. Now, this is a concern that is being raised everywhere in the country today. So it's not just Meghalaya that's raising this concern. Everybody, anywhere you go, identity is a very important thing. Today in the US, people talk about identity, even a developed nation like that. So therefore, there's nothing wrong in raising this concern. Number two is that people are simply putting this point forward, that let there be some more policy mechanisms which will allow us to be able to kind of, in a way, check and just monitor the movement. And that is where, like, states like, Nagaland and Arunachal, the ILP was proposed, and it is there right now. So there's a huge demand from the organizations that these things should be there. Now, my take on this whole thing is that it's not necessary that it has to be an ILP. We have, of course, passed a resolution in the House when we had some concerns and issues when the CAA was raised. But my point is that, look, we can have any mechanism, but there should be a mechanism. And this is what I have been able to speak to the organizations and a large part of society. And we have got more or less a kind of a, not a consensus, but at least some kind of a informal understanding agreement that, yes, if there is a strong mechanism which we can all agree to, we would be okay with the railways coming in. We've also divided the railway aspect into two. One is passenger and one is goods train, because goods is something that we also need to move forward with, because that's really where the economic activity is going to be really affected a lot. So keeping, as I said, the entire dynamics of the cultural aspect, the concerns of the people, the overall history, as I said, of how our state has come to be, our land holding, the way that our land holding rights are, the community-based system that we have, and obviously the need for railway. We need to carry the people along. And I've been very clear that I'm in the process of doing that. I've been engaging with Government of India in terms of trying to work out if there are alternative mechanisms which could be acceptable to Government of India as well as to state. And we are in the process of engaging right now.
Right.
It would not be appropriate for me to put a time frame to it, but obviously as a state government, if not passenger, I am very keen to see that the goods train is something that we are really, really keen to think. And even if it doesn't come all the way up, at least to certain parts or certain extent, where we can come into the Ribhoi district, just so that the economic activity could grow. So that's really what we're looking at.
Right.
And we hope that we'll be able to resolve this, but it is a complicated issue.
𝗟𝗓𝗡𝗖𝗓.
Namaskar, my name is 𝗟𝗓𝗡𝗖𝗓. I'm an entrepreneur. I've got two questions to both of them whom I know well. Rio sir, first thing is that your emphasis on the soft power of Nagaland is fantastic. I just been to Asian Music Summit, I have spoken about it. I was invited to speak in Asian Music Summit. I was amazed to see the quality of talents and quality of organization you have done in 𝗡𝗡𝗏. It's something I think Meghalaya should do. Meghalaya has equal level of musical talents. So 𝗡𝗏𝗏 has been a fantastic thing you have done. Nagaland coffee, I must tell you sir, this is one of the finest coffee in the world right now. We have taken them to Vietnam and I was surprised. In a lot of, there's a company called Olio. They're saying that they want to buy this coffee because Vietnam has Robusta coffee and the Nagaland coffee is Arabica coffee. It's very tasty. And I've seen a lot of people calling us about the Arabica coffee. They went to Delhi and a lot of people have said that in Northeast Festival, Delhi, Nagaland coffee was there and they're asking to put a change of Naga coffee in Delhi. What I'm trying to say, these are the things that are going to change Nagaland. What I want to request you, sir, I have a request for you. A lot of people we send to Nagaland, a lot of tourists going to Nagaland, and everybody has a complaint except for Ribhoi Hotel and others. Hotel is a major problem of Nagaland. If you do not get a room in a Ribhoi Hotel, and if they stay in Saramati, they feel very bad experience. My humble request, sir, is that we must get some hotel chains to invest in Nagaland. I'm promising you there will be thousands of high-spending tourists traveling to Nagaland. You must do something to get some hotel. The first question. Second, to Conrad sir, the rock star, that you have been changing the musical scenery of Northeast. Everywhere about your music, your video is going viral. And that's the best thing you have done for our soft power, which is, we believe, our next economy for Northeast. I have a request to you, sir, is that we have been traveling to Shillong since ages, since Neiphiu days. The road to Shillong, the traffic to Shillong, and alternate way to Shillong. Kindly do something so that this whole area, the Northeast depends, the growth of Northeast depends on a big way how you do in the next few years about an alternate route to Shillong. We request you to do something specific.
Thank you. These are 2 points. His request to set up good hotels in Kohima, that is his main thing.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the question. And also thank you for your visit and appreciation, word of appreciation. Well, you see, this Asia Music Summit is the first international music summit we had held in the country. And when you look at that, you are talking about 𝗡𝗢𝗥𝗧𝗛𝗏, you are talking about the government policy. Government did create a platform, but it is the talented youth, the interest for music, and that's how the success story is about the youth, the musicians, the singers. So I give credit to our youth who are very keen in music, and this soft power, I think, has become a very good ambassador for us. And so this, I hope it will grow, because in that summit, many MOUs are signed. So that means it is an opportunity for our singers, our musicians, to be going out in the national level and abroad, opportunity to sing. So a lot of things will happen. The next question is your coffee. Nagaland coffee is doing very well. It has gone to South Africa, and in the international competitions, they had reached the top. It's because of the flavor, the aroma, of the altitude, and the processing. So we have friends who are coffee scientists, who are experts, and who are also giving knowledges. And since there's a market, it has gone to UK also. And whenever we take our Nagaland coffee, giving presents to our friends, VVIPs, they all appreciate it. And the farmers, by themselves, without much help, with little technicalities, the farmers are growing like anything. So I think one day this will be one of the main, there's a huge prospect.
Right.
Then regarding the success of Hornbill Festival and the tourism that is flowing in, you are aware, 2024 hotspot tourist destinations. Nagaland appeared in 16 in serial number 4 because of its rich culture, traditions, and how the music is growing.
Right.
And the last Hornbill Festival, in the entry record, which my Imna along my colleagues, he's the tourism minister, so he know the details. But record also, it is 120,000 tourists and more than 2,000 foreigners, means outside the country.
Right. That's
so,
huge.
So there's a huge growth, but the main problem is the accommodation, the hotel. Now we have come to your question. Right now we are managing because of Airbnb, bed and breakfast. So tourists doesn't stay only in the star hotels or hotels, whatever is available. But the tourism department, and we have MOU with Airbnb, so the homes, they can spare 1-2 rooms in their houses. Then when it is brought to the notice to the tourism department, then the authority will go and check whether it is comfortable place, the cleanliness, the toilet, the facilities. So when it is approved, then they put into their website. So it is online booking. That's how things happen.
Right.
And you see, I'm coming back to Naga issue, unresolved Naga issue. That's why there's no investors. And that's how big things are not happening. So we are trying to improve, and next year we are trying to create more permanent infrastructures. Plus, though we cannot build the hotels, we are engaging some agencies where they can create in thousands accommodations.
Right.
And we'll make it comfortable. So,
Right.
I met one friend from this Kingfishers. They're giving us some CSR programs. He was a biker. In one of the Hornbills, the previous year, more than 2,000 bikers meet. And more than 2,000 bikers, they registered. And they cannot find suitable place in Kohima. Still they stayed in Dimapur and they went and come down. But 2,000 cannot go at one go. So they made chief so that some group will go, some will come back.
Absolutely.
And I was asked to go and visit them. It was amazing. Awesome.
Absolutely.
So we'll look forward to, and some five-star hotel are coming up in Dimapur, and some are interested to invest, but the festival seasons, it is overcrowded. Other time, it is quite empty. So unless you run as certain percentage occupancy, then you run into loss. And that's how the small local people, entrepreneurs, they cannot do that five-star. So we're waiting for good investors. We'd like to try to taking some risks also. They're welcome, and we'll give full support and cooperation. Thank you.
Absolutely. Alternative road to Shillong.
Well, my name is Professor 𝗟𝗓𝗡𝗓 Mao. I have no question, only a short comment.
Yeah.
Very often here and elsewhere, it is mentioned the Naga solution like Mizo Accord. This is actually a mistake, a big mistake, because MNF started in 1966, and by 1979, they have completely surrendered. Under duress and under pressure, the MNF had to sign. Therefore, comparing the two alike cases is a big mistake. But the two negotiators, the Government of India and the NACN-IM and the other Naga politic group, from their extreme rigid stand, both have to come together, and in that respect, Wajbir has given the clue that it has to be give and take. And the rigid stand from the Government of India is, at the back of their mind, Akhanda Bharat. From this, they do not want to budge much. And from the NACN-IM side, completely separate constitution, completely separate flag. I think that is where the two cannot meet together. So to come together, symbolic flag flying together, both the Government of India and the Naga, there is nothing wrong, and the heaven will not fall at all. That is number one solution. Secondly, constitution, well, in the constitution, what kind of autonomy that will be there? Perhaps. And absolutely, majority Naga area, in the adjoining area, can be integrated, and perhaps in that, if the NACN insists on the separate constitution, there a symbolic kind of constitution can be made. Otherwise, I don't think any solution at all in the near future.
Thank you.
And if by chance, after a couple of decades, China comes to the most powerful superpower, perhaps situation may be even worse. That I can foresee. Thank you.
Doomsday scenario prediction by you, Professor. Thank you so much. Professor Mao.
Can I speak?
No, if it is a question, then yes.
Now, something simple. Sir, it is all for politician. It is a general thing. Like, sir, all of you are swimmers. You're swimming in a pond. You have to, when you're swimming, you're drinking water also. And we are the masters. We should get what, when you swim, something you're getting, we should also get something. At least 80% if we get also. That will be amazing for all the country. And
Thank
plus,
you.
sir,
Thank you.
one more thing, the pressure should not come from our side also. Like we cannot blame only the politicians. Our public also should be, like our masses should also be alert. They should learn to put pressure. I'll tell you an instance, sir. A short story. When I was posted in Bongaigaon, I had seen a stadium, sir, a huge structure. And then when I pass by that, I get some very sadness, such a huge structure. Then I asked the people, local people, why this stadium, since when it's lying like this? They said 6 years. Oh my God. And only drunkards inside, gambling.
But
then immediately what I reacted, sir, I just wrote a letter to the editor. And the MLAs, they swung into action the same night. And within 3 months, they have completed. As per my son.
So that is
that
is people's awareness.
Yes,
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Okay,
much,
sir.
ma'am. Thank you very much. I think we have spent enough time with the Honorable CMs. Now, finally, I want to ask the same question to both our chief ministers here. First of all, Rioji, what is the future of the Northeast?
Well, you put a question to Conrad. The Northeast, we see from Delhi, they see us as one. And that's how they created the small state together as Northeast Council. And we get some help from there. And also, in political angle also, they take us as one area. Therefore, in between us, we can do big projects jointly that some formula can be worked out, because we cannot face the Southeast Asia business activities on your own. You need one another. And we should have positive attitude. We should have that way forward. And we cannot compete among ourselves. We should complement one another instead. So I hope we have future together, and then we should not be a liability. Northeast is rich. I call my state as a rich state. Rich but remain poor.
Yeah.
Because of
unexploited,
very rich resources.
But still
be
poor.
Oil, be minerals. We have huge deposit, and it is not been allowed to explore and exploit.
By the people.
No, by the
community
political process. Political process. Otherwise, community, the general public, they are very keen how they should live in their poverty. They would like to grow because their children has grown to be international citizens, and the country back home is still in a very bad shape. So I think northeastern state should really work together.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Mr. Rio. Mr. Conrad Sangma, we don't have a mega city in the Northeast yet. We have the Bhutanese Consul General with us sitting here. Now, Bhutan is coming up with a mega city in Galepu, which they call it the mindfulness city. The area which His Majesty the King has said that this will be an area which will be larger than Singapore. He has his plans ready. Everything has been laid out. He has approached the Indian Prime Minister. He has approached the business tycoons in the country. He had already met. There's a huge investment promise which have been given by these top industrial houses. Now, the terrain is the same. The railway line connectivity which they're getting to that mega city is from Kokrajhar to Gelepu, which is 57 kilometers. The place is just 30 kilometers from Chirang. It is 5.5 hours drive from Guwahati. Why do you think Northeast has not been able to come up with such a plan? Because you decided to set up a casino and there was a huge uproar in Meghalaya, you had to give up the idea. It's okay to have casinos in Goa, the Sikkim, it is fine to have a casino. Is our society so fragile that if there is a casino, the entire roots of the society will be shaken? That's how some people say that everybody, it will be a gambling den. People, first of all, not everybody will be able to spend that kind of money in a gambling den. So, don't you think these are some of the issues, these are some of the problems?
Yeah, you've asked me many questions, number one. So I don't know which one to answer. Okay, I'll answer first his question. Traffic has been an issue, no doubt about it. And there is really no short-term solution to it. We are, in fact, in the process of now coming up with large number of parking lots that are going to help us clear up the roads. But you have to remember that Shillong has one of the highest per capita density of vehicles in the country. Maybe after Mumbai, I think Shillong is number 2. So if not number 2, definitely number 3. So, and that trend is going up every year. Every 7 years, our cars double on the road. So the only solution for us in the long term is to actually expand the city. So you'll be happy to know that we have finally approved the procedure. We are coming up with a new administrative city, which Kohima has done for a long time back. And we're shifting the entire governance process about 7-8 kilometers away from the proper Shillong. And then use the current existing lands of the government to then expand the roads and create green space, parking spaces and expansion. So I hope that that would be a much more longer term solution. And within the existing Shillong city, we have also tried to do smart kind of mapping of ways in which we can create walkways for the people, because Shillong is a city which is walkable. So even if you actually wish to walk, you can actually reach faster than maybe the car. So therefore, the problem is that the infrastructure is not there. So I don't have enough time to reply to the whole question, but just to give you a glimpse on the fact that we are actually very, very seriously working on this, and you will see a lot of things happen in the next 2 to 3 years in this area of this issue of traffic congestion. Coming to the question of the overall mega city that you're mentioning, the way I look at things is that there is no need for us to really copy everything that somebody else does. I have always believed, and I always mention this in every meeting I have at Government of India level, that what works for, say, even a place like Assam may not work for Meghalaya. Forget something working for UP, working for Arunachal Pradesh. So hence the flexibility in governance and the flexibility to the state governments to be able to decide on projects should be given more and more, because they know best what to be done. So to reply to the first part of your question is that a big project like a mega city may work. I think Assam may be in a position to explore in that. But keeping in mind the other aspects of governance, the limitation of funds, looking at all these areas, whether a mega city project like this would be practical in different states, whether it's better for us to invest more in our district headquarters and decentralize the kind of infrastructures we have so that our population is not centered around one mega city. These are questions that we need to ask, and states will have to answer and then decide on how to move forward. So that's the second part. So I feel every state should have their own policy. They should study from others, learn from others. That's the second part. Third part, regarding the mindset, you see, it's a very clear fact that Northeast is a small society. We have our state's a small society. We are conservative to some extent in certain areas and open-minded when it comes to certain areas. So we as a government and as political leaders need to be sensitive to that. We need to understand it. Now, when we went forward with that, we really wished to actually move forward to give a new impetus to the tourism sector in our state. And we did basic consultations, and we realized that there were some concerns. And while we went ahead with that in a way, then later on we said, no, the timing may not be right. People are not ready for this. So let us give it a bit more time, and let us try to work and consult and take people on board. As I said, I don't believe in creating policies that may be financially viable, but ultimately if it is going to be something that is going to affect the society at large in the long run, and stakeholders are not going to be on board, then it's something that we should in fact try to get the people on board. And that's the reason why we have not decided to go ahead right now, and we will see how things move forward. We will still examine the possibilities. But as I said that, and just to close my remarks on this entire policy making, I am a person who's obviously GDP oriented. I do believe in investing and making sure that our GDP goes up. But on a larger scale, we have to realize also that the GDP model is not always a sustainable model, and hence there are many other factors in a society that matter, and therefore we need to be people who balance things as leaders. We need to be looking at sustainable models in the long run, and we need to see why there are European nations which are very big, Asian nations which are very big today have 0% economic growth, and yet they are sustaining and they are fine, because that's how it is. Because at the end of the day, the quality of life is what matters. So I guess we need balance of all these things is important in decision making.
Absolutely. It's a complex region with complex issues, and within a short span, it is not possible to ask all the questions. But I must say that the two political figures sitting here, Mr. Neiphiu Rio, the Honorable Chief Minister of Nagaland, and Mr. Conrad Sangma, the Honorable Chief Minister of Meghalaya, they have tried to answer the questions to my mind with great honesty, and tried to be as clear as possible. And as journalists, we know when we talk to journalists, when we talk to political leaders, we know that they are not in a position to answer everything in black and white in front of a televised audience. But within that, I must say that they have been extremely candid in today's conversation. And thanks so much, both of you, for spending so much time coming all the way, taking the trouble to come to this first Northeast Live conclave. And without your presence, this conclave perhaps would not have been successful. And thanks to each one of you sitting in front of me today, because you have been an integral part of this conclave this morning. And of course, our viewers who are watching us on television, very big thank you to all of you for being with us during the last 6 years, and we hope we will get the support and blessings and positive criticism from each one of you sitting in front of me, and the viewers who are watching our channel from their living rooms. Once again, thank you very much, Mr. Conrad Sangma, Mr. Neiphiu Rio, and thanks everyone present here and making our conclave a success.